Why, hello, friends. This is the Sail Rider getting ready to take a quick trip out of Burnt Store Marina. It's New Year's Day 2021. I sure hope we have a better year. It's very likely to be a wild ride today. The winds are out of the southeast, 20 to 25 mile an hour. Should be fun. To get from the boat ramp at Burnt Store Marina to the Charlotte Harbor, I have to pass through Burnt Store Marina and see all the poor people in here with all these poor people who can't afford a Wind Rider 17. Here we are, about to pass out of the yacht basin. The area just ahead there is supposed to be some kind of new development. I'm not sure what, but should be interesting. The sailing should get a lot better as soon as I get away from the blockage of the land in the apartment buildings. The channel here runs right between these two little spoil islands. There's usually people fishing around there. You saw the kayaker that was headed out. They probably stay on the inside here because I think the harbor is going to be pretty rough today. Currently, we're at low tide. You can see the sandbars extending from the islands. Ordinarily, those are underwater, during normal tide, but they're very shallow, so you have to be very careful coming in and out of here. Coming out of Burnt Store Marina was the first trip I made in this boat after I purchased it. I'd convinced my wife that it was perfectly safe and that she should come for a ride with me. It was at high tide, and unfortunately we found that sandbar, and she was not very amused. Hasn't been sailing with me many times since. Once we clear these islands, we will get the full force of the wind coming up Charlotte Harbor. Should be interesting. Got my chin strap on my hat. I think I'm going to need it. The water temperature in Charlotte Harbor is now about 65 degrees, so whenever that spray hits you, it's plenty refreshing. With the wind and sea conditions, I did not find it necessary to deploy the jib. I'm making probably 8 to 10 knots most of the time with just the mainsail, and don't really feel like I should go any faster than that with the conditions being the way they are. I sure hope the people here trying to fish aren't prone to seasickness, because they're sure in a bad position if they are. Straight ahead of us is Boca Grande, which is the opening to the Gulf of Mexico. I've never made it all the way from here. I would like to try one day, but I think it's a little rough to do it today. A right turn will take me up into Punta Gorda, and a left turn will take me to Pine Island Sound. Lots of great sailing water here. I'm amazed at how well this Windrider 17 will tack. I don't even have the jib sail up, but the winds are heavy and the seas are heavy, and the boat comes right around just like it's supposed to. You can see the Burnt Store Marine complex there to the left a little bit. Those are all those high-rise condominiums there. Headed nice guide to get me back to where I need to be. Here we are approaching the marker for Burnt Store Marina. We'll be getting into calmer waters soon. Here are our friends that were fishing when we were headed out. It looks like they had enough. They're gonna hide over here in the lee of the island and fish. I don't blame them. When the tide is high, I can usually make a left turn here at this marker up here on the left and run all the way down to Pirate Harbor, which is a nice inside sail, but I wouldn't want to try to do it today because the tide was low and it's kind of rough. Even though a sailboat always has the right of way, I never assume that they're going to give it to me. It's much better to run up on a sandbar than to have a run-in with one of these guys that's not paying attention. These apartments over here on the right are where I would move if my backup retirement plan comes in, i.e. I win the lottery. They have such a beautiful view. I cannot imagine how nice they must be. I have put the trolling motor in just to be sure I can maintain steerage. It's kind of tricky in here because the wind kind of gets twisted all around by the buildings. I will probably have to tack a couple times to get back to the ramp, but it's doable, and it's kind of gives me a nice tour of the marina. Just one more funny story here. As I told you earlier, this was the first place I took my Windrider 17 out after I bought it. It did not have anything but a paddle for auxiliary, and the wind was kind of blowing, not as hard as it is today, but it was blowing pretty much in the same direction. So I had to sail the boat in. After running aground on the sandbar out there, which didn't make my wife too happy. She was sure we were going to drown when I got out of the boat to shove it off of the sandbar. So we get all the way back up in here, and we had a slip up here that we could use. So I'm going to sail the boat into the slip. So I stowed the jib and told her to grab a hold of the dock and just hang on to it for a minute while I took the mainsail down. Well, she didn't get it quite right. She stood up on one of the amas instead of sitting down and grabbed the dock. And of course, as soon as she touched the dock, she pushed the boat out from under her, and there she was, hanging from the dock. She was not amused. There were several manatees right in the vicinity, and she was sure that they were going to eat her. For years now, I've chided her about not liking to go sailing, but she sure liked to hang around the docks. Fortunately for her, there were two men walking down the docks, so they pulled her out before she could harm the manatees. Well, we made it back safely without incident. Thanks for coming along. Well, this is the Sailrider signing off for now. Hope to see you soon. Have a great 2021.